It looks like we are live. Hey, it's August 23rd, 2023. It's medication time. 3 for 3. I wouldn't. Is this a pattern? I can't imagine. Okay, good. I have audio. So reviewing some of the last couple of days. I'm not sure what's going on with camera, video. The playback is frozen at points. I'm just going to see what. I want to change the layout. Anyway, welcome to the Hawkeye Rising YouTube channel. I'm Clint. I am your host. I am your Hawkeye for the apocalypse. Yeah, and I'm streaming at 480p. Still learning this. We're just going to roll with it. Oh, goodness. Yep. Back to being a new green, a noob, whatever, however we want to call it at this. How do I even share your browser's block your screen? I know this has happened before, and I think I've even ended streams as a result of not being able to share a screen. All right, nonetheless, let's move forward. Let's see who. If you're catching this, I really appreciate those that have hey, we're able to join the chat last couple nights. Thank you very much. Questions, comments, being present, giving me some feedback. All right, let's jump in. So August 23rd. Let's go to our favorite source, our favorite resource. Google. The search engine that shares a birthday with the Jesuit order. Actually, Wikipedia. Let's see, Wikipedia. I've looked at this before. The launch date for the Wikimedia Foundation, or Wikipedia, owned by the Wikimedia Foundation, 15 January 2001. That'll be interesting to look into. Anyway, let's just glance. One thing I know for certain, we have well, in a way, the death that practically started this just over 3 years ago. We have Kobe Bryant. Bryant was born 23 August 19. Where are you, bro? Why am I not finding you? Oh my goodness, 1978. Wow, I don't know why that slipped my mind. But then also River Phoenix, back in 1970, brother of Joaquin Phoenix, member of the Phoenix family. I can't think of there's a number of other siblings, but also the parents covered in the caps, covered in Johnny's Eaters of Children, the pedocracy exposed, how access to power is granted through the rape, torture, and ritualistic slaughter of the innocent. We know that Phoenix had an untimely death, October 31st, 1993. Was he sacrificed? Get the book, read the chapter. The cool thing is, we know that the PDF of Johnny's Eaters of Children has been circulated, not with his permission, online. But we know the blessing that has come of it, of course, when it gets into the hands of those, as it brought us JP, John Paul. So Eaters of Children, and remember, published September 11th, 2017. September 11th. Okay, so we got the birthday of Kobe Bryant, River Phoenix. But we're looking at the wiki page, and I'm just going to quickly just check. Benjamin, how's the fire situation where you're at? Well, I'm still here. So there you go. Yeah, no, the weather was extremely hot, and now from the supposed cloud cover, smoke cover, it's gotten a lot cooler. The thing is, my location, I'm close to. Let's see, how would I describe? I'm close to a major city, so you can find Vancouver, British Columbia. So, good old Jesuit province. How about just look up the flag, of my province of British Columbia. You have the mark of Anu, the signature of Anu, the 8-pointed star, also known as the Union Jack, which has its source in St. Peter's Square with the obelisk in the center. And I believe how Dossie puts it, yes, the signature of Anu, which goes back to, is this the actual mark that Yahweh gave Cain as a result of Cain slaughtering Abel, and in the manner of which Cain slaughtered Abel, and in the manner in which the second Adam, the second Noah, the second Enoch, all through Jesus of Nazareth, Christ the Messiah, would fulfill at Golgotha, the place of the skull. Whose skull? Goliath's skull. Let's see where you're at. So I can't look out my window and see fire. Obviously, it looks like hell, and it makes me think of if I didn't want to get the immediate copyright strike, I'd probably play Iron Maiden's "Hell on Earth." The epic caboose, the final song on what year was it published or released? 2021. I believe it was 2021, September 3rd, back to the significance of September 3rd, which was covered yesterday, 1539, when Paul III heard Ignatius Loyola's formula and responded, De estic, this is the finger stroke of God. How can we trust to glean anything good from known corrupted information sources like Google and Wikipedia? Well, that's the thing. Every source. Okay. Every source is questionable. It's having the discernment to weed through what we're given. The beautiful thing is, we don't just run with one source, with a primary source. And as researchers, you find intersections with secondary, tertiary, as many as you need to, and so never ever run with just one. Times we do have to base, like, how about for example, with one primary source being Kathy O'Brien, stating that, I can't remember what number prime minister, but Pierre Elliott, his full name, Pierre Elliott something Trudeau. So Papa Trudeau, the father of current prime minister, Jesuit trained, practicing Roman Catholic, in good standing with his church. Trudeau, as some would say, Justin Castro Trudeau. Anyway, Kathy O'Brien stated that Pierre Trudeau was an ordained Jesuit. She's one hell of a source. Credible? Absolutely. Obviously, it would be to shore that up with secondary and other sources. At the same time, we can look for acts. We can look for names with names, places, and dates. How about the fact? Was it May 13th? 13 May. Pope John Paul II. May 1981. St. Peter's Square in Vatican City, Pope John Paul II was shot and wounded by, we're given a name, Mehmet Ali Agsa. I don't know how to pronounce this. While he was entering the square, the Pope was struck twice, suffered severe blood loss. Who was the first major head of state on scene to check in with his Pope? Pierre Trudeau, the first on scene. How about the fact that Vladimir Putin, I know that if there's different pronunciations, it has different meanings. Putin. Shit. Vladimir Putin gave, and of course this gave Cathy O'Brien in her statement about Pierre Trudeau being an ordained Jesuit. But Putin gave a personal phone call to Pope Francis on his birthday, December 17. I can't remember the year. It's recent, whether it was 2021 or 2020. But it's been 2021. We were busting Putin's balls last year for how many meetings with a number of popes. So from Francis, Benedict XVI, John Paul II. I think there's an image with John Paul II. Anyway, getting away from what's the goal? The goal being inspired by 23rd of August. We have the birthday of Kobe Bryant, whose death 26 January 2020, in part, was, even though some things that happened just prior to, and what we remember, certain things happened immediately after the death of Bryant. What I wanted to jump to, though, we have, this has come up on during team briefs. Okay, I'm glad my audio, in reviewing this, my audio sounds fine. I don't know why my video is breaking my balls. Why my video, it pauses and hangs up. Don't have this issue during team briefs. But this is, hey, like as I've said, this is just a test. And forgive me if I'm missing any. Yeah, Etersna, thank you, Benjamin. Anyway, by the way, the 5G network, they can really heat up. Yes, of course. We've stated this. The perceived temperature is a result from the small, close sun? Or is it because the grid, which is everywhere, specifically large cities, but you just favorite search engine, cell tower location, North America, cell tower location, Canada. There isn't a place. Well, apparently there was a small portion of Hawaii, and I think if it's true that Shannon Rowan was living there as a Wi-Fi refugee. She's been interviewed a number of times by the Surichi team, by Johnny, and she's an author of more than one book. I don't want to get the names wrong. I think one title is Wi-Fi refugee, literally, and what we had covered recently, the fact that not Lahaina. Oh, where was it? I don't want to get this wrong, but anyway, there were cell phone dead zones on in locations in Hawaii, and that's probably going to change as a result of the fires, the insurgence of mobile, what do you call them, like mobile Wi-Fi and cellular stations, and then will they become permanent? And that's happened in my own province as a result of good old fires, which questionable. Is it the smart, literally the smart grid? Remember, SMART. What, it's an acronym. What's the acronym? Self monitoring, analyzing, and reporting technology. SMART. Self monitoring, analyzing, and reporting technology. All right, August 23rd. 1305. Sir William Wallace is executed for high treason, Smithfield, London. We know we're familiar with the scene. William Wallace, played by our favorite short, 5'8", Mel Gibson. And we've covered this in the team brief. John Paul's brought this up, but this idea that as he's being his ball's being cut off. What was he? Just as Macbeth unseamed his enemy from the nape to the chops, his innards were taken out. He was beheaded and drawn and quartered. Wallace was drawn and quartered 23 August 1305. And of course, in Braveheart, the scene essentially finishes with Gibson yelling freedom. As his head turns, he sees his then dead wife, Marion, another word for Mary, the Queen of Heaven. Which brings us to our EG, the recent version of do you call it COVID-19 coronavirus? Recent variation EG.5, which I jokingly presented to the team that it actually stands for Ellen Gould White, as she's presented as a Queen of Heaven. I don't think I didn't put that. It was an implied conclusion. I don't know if the team got that. I think my emails just confused the F out of my team. I apologize. Anyway, let's double check. Let's see. He feels natural. Yeah, it's like it coming from inside. Yeah, there you go. The fact that you. One moment. Small interruption. What this? No, this is just a personal experience. Let's see, from 2020. I remember January 2020. Something had changed within the grid because we're all sensitive to whatever degree, from little to very much. Thus, there are those that yes have to be literal Wi-Fi refugees from the grid. But perceived, even just this ongoing hum. And I remember in 2020, I was away from this location for a number of weeks. In the end of 2019, came back and immediately perceived something's changed. Something's changed. I've reported last year, this ongoing hum, which had variations. So from constant to waves. It's like it can be heard, but it can also be felt. Noting at times, let's see, part of my life, spending time on two wheels, whether pedaling or motorcycle. Last year, I remember noting and reporting an unbelievable amount. So the amount of the insects, flies that I would run through, or ride through, I should say. But the amount of dead animals on the road, so roadkill, everything from snakes, squirrels, possum, skunk. Oh, there was some crazy stuff. Even cats. But I all my years of spending time on the road, I've never seen what I saw last year. The amount of dead animals on the side of the road. No, interesting. Especially how about the amount of snakes? So we're obviously not the only ones that can perceive and feel. Yes, there are the animals to consider. This was unlike anything I've ever seen. This year, it's normal. I can't tell you how many hours I've logged but I would say comparable to last year, and there's nothing. I'm maybe less than 10%. I would say, like, it was last year. It was crazy. Obviously, notably enough, I talked about it before, bringing it up again, and the fact that again this year, and rural areas not too far from me, where there was a lot of roadkill, and barely anything this year. And even back to the experience with insects, it's not the same. As long as everything flows, you're doing great. Okay, thank you very much, Turner. How do I sound? Do I sound okay? I'm actually going to mute the mic. I'm going to take a tape. Jesidu's weave. Jesuit residue. All right, let's go back to our 23 August. Oh, and if you can, let me know how I sound. Sounds like, obviously, it sounds, thank you very much, Tarzan. Appreciate it. Again, I don't expect this to be a pattern. This is just whether it's just running with inspiration, or August, July, August, obviously July being with the 21st. July with significant dates this month. There's dates associated with Lorenzo Ricci, a topic that I'm passionate about, interest in. And then, of course, there's a number of other dates. Jacques Cartier, August 15th, the Assumption of the Queen of Heaven, or the Feast of the Assumption, the Jesuit order tie-in. And then coming up the 29th of August, being the anniversary day of the death of Pius VI, who was arrested under Napoleon in 1798 during the Jesuit suppression. And while he was in prison, so was arrested in 1798, died August 29th, 1799. Where do we know 29 August 29 from in our modern recent psyche? That Terminator 2 Judgment Day. But it's August 29th, 1997. It's going to feel pretty fucking real to you too. Anybody not wearing 2 million some buck is going to have a pretty bad day. Get it? It's Linda Hamilton's character, Sarah Connor. 1997 to be an anagram for 1799. All right, August 23rd. William Wallace executed for high treason. Remember, drawn and quartered. We have 1541, French explorer Jacques Cartier lands near Quebec City, or what would become Quebec City, in his third voyage to Canada. 1572, French Wars of Religion. We have mob violence against thousands of Huguenots in Paris results in the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre. I know this is something that the good cap has brought up many times. The impetus behind it, who was involved, what were the results, and of course this brutal massacre. So of course August 23rd, and then I see 1572, and I want to say the Battle of Lepanto. I believe it was 1571. Yes, October 7, 1571, and 7 October 7. Significant date as well, not just the anniversary day of the Battle of Lepanto, but has a Putin birthday, and Vladimir Ladachowski, who we talked last night. And somebody, was it you, Benjamin, who brought it up that Ladachowski lived his mom, lived in his mother's basement or something. What was he playing, Xbox? Couldn't get a girlfriend. Wasn't Cartier? Let's see. So I'm obviously bringing this up as well because there's there's one point I want to hit before signing off. 1799, Napoleon the First of France. So our quote unquote beloved Napoleon, who has a Ridley Scott film coming out later this year, 22nd November, the anniversary day of the assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy. So in 1799, Napoleon I of France leaves Egypt for France en route to seizing power. What? Stockholm Syndrome. Yeah. No, how about I'll just it's right here. So might as well just read it. 1973, a bank robbery gone wrong in Stockholm, Sweden turns into a hostage crisis. Over the next 5 days, the hostages begin to sympathize with their captors, leading to the term Stockholm Syndrome. We got a little Stockholm Syndrome going on. Charlie, thank you, Terzna. Your audio is fine, especially at night and early morning. The 5G is very active. Mute works. Oh shit! You just gave me a little bit of a jump. I'm like, have I been muted this time? And I'm too much of a dumbass to look. No, looks like I'm okay. I'm on. All right. While I'm looking at it, I think there was another significant. It's either a birthday or a death date. William Wallace. No, not yet. All right. I don't want to get stuck on this. Fascinating. But then I imagine after the fact hitting end and then seeing another point. Okay, we can jump ahead. So last year, I'm not going to share this page. I'm having an issue with the visuals anyway. So thank you for just listening to the sound of my voice. All right, this is from VaticanNews.va. If anybody is interested, all two of you. All two of you. All right, 1 year ago, Pope Francis, all movable assets or of Holy See to be managed. Pope Francis issues a brief rescript to clarify that the Institute for the Works of Religion has exclusive competence for managing. All right, that's not what I wanted to read. Oh, shit. Sorry. This is it. I'm going to another article because of the wording. Here we go. Okay, waiting for it to load. Catholic World Report. Pope Francis instructs Vatican entities to move all funds to Vatican Bank by September 30th. This is 1 year ago. Okay. Pope Francis has ordered that the Holy See and connected entities move all financial assets to the Institute. Okay. Don't shut me out yet. Vatican Bank, commonly known as the Vatican Bank. The Pope's rescript issued August 23rd clarifies the interpretation of a paragraph. And there goes my camera, which is fine. Let's see. Though commonly called a quote-unquote bank, the IOR is technically a financial institute with no branches working within Vatican City-State to provide services to clients, which include the Holy See and connected entities, religious orders, clergy, Catholic institutions, and Holy See employees. The IOR saw its number of clients decline by 472 from 14,991 clients at the end of 2020 to 14,519 in 2021. Nearly half of its clients in 2019 were religious orders. Okay, so as your Hawkeye, okay, I'm just going to work briefly on. All right. Why this was important, at least important enough. Remember, as we are students of the Art of War, Sun Tzu, the 13 Articles, translated, quote unquote, translated by Jesuit Jean Joseph Marie Amiot in 1772, 1 year prior to the Jesuit suppression of 1773. If Sun Tzu is in fact Lorenzo Ricci, 18th Jesuit Superior General, it's important to note that as our first Jesuit Pope, I say our, quote unquote, our present Pope, being an ordained Jesuit, a fourth vow Jesuit. Of course, there's been the debate, who's actually in charge? Is it Francis? Is it Jorge Mario Bergoglio, or is it Arturo Sosa? Well, nobody knows Arturo Sosa's name. Everybody knows Francis's name. Is that the answer? Highly questionable. Is it a dual role? Certainly. Who empowers whom? So, but here we go. We got this call. Instructs Vatican entities. I presented, I believe this was literally, so a Sun Tzu drumbeat as boys, all eyes on Rome by September 30th. And what's September 30th? September 30th is the death day and also feast day of third Jesuit Superior General Francis Borgia, born 28 October 1518. So even his birthday is significant. Shares the date with the likes of Bill Gates, actor Joaquin Phoenix, brother of River Phoenix, whom we discussed just prior, whose birthday is today in 1970. Yes, he was, we believe. And again, the captain presents it very well in Eaters of Children, devotes an entire chapter to it. Outside of Johnny Depp's the Viper Room, I believe, Phoenix died. I don't know if it was just from memory. I don't want to guess whether it was a supposed drug overdose, even though he was apparently clean for some time. Of course, making us question the narrative, right? So, of course, back to trusting source. Okay, mainstream media would let us believe that yes, Phoenix had ingested this and that and that and this, combined it with whatever types of alcohol, and that leading to his death. But of course, big picture and knowing who we're dealing with, it's highly questionable. How is this though? The feast day listed for Francis Borgia were given. So the 30th of September, we are given the 10th of October, and that stood from the 1688 to 1969. So just after Vatican II. Vatican II was like 1962 to 1965. And in the Jesuit order, it's listed as October 3rd. What's October 3rd? Amongst other things. I know it's a Francis. Yeah, Francis Assisi. Giovanni di Pietro di Bernardone, better known as Francis of Assisi, was an Italian mystic and Catholic friar who founded the Franciscans. So lived 1181 to 1226. Well, he died 11 years after, I believe, the signing of the so-called signing of the Magna Carta in 1215. June 15, 1215, I believe, was that date. He was inspired to lead, so back to Assisi, he was inspired to lead a life of poverty as an itinerant preacher, one of the most venerated figures in Christianity, which is why the current Pope, I jokingly said earlier, the current Pope, took the name Francis of Assisi or of Francis Xavier. You decide, being a Jesuit Pope. He was inspired to lead a life of poverty. Okay, one of the most venerated figures of Christianity. Francis was canonized by Gregory the 9th, 16th July, 1228. Usually depicted in a brown habit with a rope around his waist, a rope around his neck, a rope around his waist with 3 knots, symbolizing the 3 Franciscan vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. Okay. Francis of Assisi's death date, 3 October 1226. His feast day, though, was October 4. So there's a blending. Where on the flat earth, what time zone? So the fact that third Jesuit Superior General Francis Borgia has his own 3 different feast day dates. Well, 2 apparently now still stand, one being September 30th, and the Jesuits' own October 3rd. Significant enough to bring up. Okay, so Francis, all Vatican entities, I believe this was a call for specifically the Jesuit order, all eyes on me, boys. Details to follow. And as we study the art of war, or 13 articles, we know that the general does not have to speak, but with banners, with sound, with smoke, with drum beat, he gives his orders to an obedient order of men who respond perinde ac cadaver, in the manner of a corpse, with blind obedience, without question. All right, who's still here? Is there a 5th? Not that we know of. Maybe there is. But the important thing is the fact that, so for the Jesuit order, we know, yes, the first 3, and then the controversial 4th, which is referenced and cited in part in mainstream sources. Of course, we have Alberto Rivera. We have the Congress card number. It was entered into U.S. Congress. I don't have this memorized, but the fact, apparently, though, the page has been ripped out. But it was entered into Congress. It's either 1912 or 1913, February 15th. February 15th is a significant day. Well, Canada changed its flag in 1965 or 6, February 15th. I don't want to start guessing at this either. But the fact, and I presented that my belief that actually the current Canadian flag, which I used to love, oh boy, the idea of what is patriotism. The Canadian flag is actually a Masonic apron, which is symbolic of the literally of the blood of the children, the blood of the innocent, the residential schools, and all the slaughtered children since then, since the foundation of Canada. That is what our red and white flag represent. So the red, on the outer portions, the red bars representing blood, and then the red maple leaf in the center. It is a blood stain. It is a guilty blood stain that goes over the loins of a Mason, of a man, of a person, of a acting perinde cadaver, obeying an unknown superior. And what do we know? We know that the Jesuit order created Freemasonry. The G in the square and compass represents Jesu as the Jesuit Superior General. May 6th. Okay. Any questions, comments, anything need to be addressed? I just wanted to hit briefly August 23rd. The William Wallace captured in 1995's Mel Gibson's Braveheart, his yelling of freedom as he was being drawn and quartered. Freedom being the Queen of Heaven, freedom being, and which ties into Frederick Tarpasossi III on his gravestone. It lists a number of things that he is or was, and the last thing on that list, one of them being a misspelling of the word author, which obviously it was intentional. How can you misspell author? I jokingly say it's actually a reference to Arturo Sosa, but Authur. But the final thing on the list of Saucy's attributes, he is a lover of freedom. He even presents freedom as the Queen of Heaven herself in Rulers of Evil, Useful Knowledge About Governing Bodies, published 1999, under Peter John Kolvenbach, 29th Jesuit Superior General. The late 29th, the late Peter Hans Kolvenbach, who died, remember, 26 November 2016. As we mentioned, I believe it was last night. Remember, 2016, there was a period of time of 5 living popes. Benedict XVI, Francis, or also known as Francis I, Peter John Kolvenbach, Adolfo Nicholas, and Arturo Sosa. There was a period of approximately 6 weeks. There were 5 living popes. Was what they were doing, did that burn out? Peter John Kolvenbach, or he died Beirut, or Beirut, Lebanon. The location of remember in 2020, remember the port of Beirut, the bomb, and then tying that to the Oppenheimer / Barbie narrative. Remember the films that were released on the 250th anniversary date of the Jesuit order of suppression. Just last month, we had the release of Barbie and Oppenheimer at the exact same time. Greta Gerwig, the director of Barbie, being Roman Catholic educated, Jesuit trained actress, just down the road at the Jesuit High School, was born August 4th, so on the anniversary date of the Beirut. Okay, at that time, it wasn't an anniversary date, but anyway, shares that August 4th is her birthday. So the fact that you have this event in Beirut. All right, let's just looking at the chat. Let's see, finally, the Eris variant is a tribute to the 5G network. Yeah, Ellen G. White. Network, which is crucial component. Well, Ellen G. White being a type of Queen of Heaven, crucial component to the current mass assault. Yes, of course. Yeah, and that I'll discuss that at further length. In what's to come. Hopefully working out the kinks. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. And I think I've covered more or less what I was thinking about covering. Again, Sun Tzu drumbeats happening before us. May we have the discernment to hear, have ears to hear. And then, of course, and have somehow, will there be anybody, an audience, even if it's only 2 or 3, And two or three gathered together in my name, there I am with them, as Jesus had said. And I think, Benjamin, as I was signing out last night, you had mentioned about Yahusha. I believe there's something to this. The name of Yah, the name of Yahusha. I know it's certainly not popular in certain circles. It goes beyond any sacred naming or Hebrew roots. But I believe there's something to it. How about maybe I'll whether fun portion while I'm thinking of it. Even the name of Yahweh in the reverse of Hawaii. Something going on there. Anyway, too true. Sosa means soda in Spanish. Well, remember, drink up. Arturo Sosa's full name. I'll just hit this while I'm. His given full name is Arturo Marcelino Sosa Abascal. Remember, who shares a birthday with our current Jesuit Superior General. Yes, R in quotes. But Ryan Gosling. Gosling starring in films like Only God Forgives, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. I believe it was 2013 or 14. Not a mainstream film. You pretty much had to go to an art house type theater to see it. Fascinating nonetheless. Violent, yes. Necessary violence, highly questionable during certain scenes, but still fascinating. That's certainly another talk about wounded masculinity and the wow. Yeah, that's a subject to get into another time. That's okay. Major Knowles. Yeah, maybe he loves Dr. Pepper, or drink your Coke to the dregs. Only Hawkeye could catch those dates. Yeah, the thing is, back to the Yahweh. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, it's certainly a sensitive subject. I believe there's something to it. The thing is, back to the idea though, and I definitely agree with the cap. This idea of balance. I think there's something there. I'll leave it at that. That this could. We're almost pushing midnight. But anyway, great point to bring up. Appreciate that you did. I just wanted to address that initially, scratch the surface with it, scratch the general's ass with it. August 23rd. The cry of freedom. Who's freedom? Freedom, the Queen of Heaven. Freedom, Mary. Freedom, E.G. White. Who are people calling upon? Who are people serving? Whom do you serve? Rhetorical questions, but all right. This is I'm your Hawkeye for now. Unbelievable, almost 50 minutes. All right, hey, each of you, Terzna, Benjamin, thank you very much. Appreciate that you're here, really do. Yes, absolutely. That is another fascinating study. Eliyahu, Zachariahu, so on and so forth. What current Benjamin Netanyahu? What's his last name mean? Is it a gift? Certainly literal, but what does his name mean? Gift of God? Obviously, we know God's not his name. God has a name, and his name's not God. Okay. Again, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now I'm figuring out how do I. Hey, blessings upon you too. Thank you very much. All right, you guys. Actually, I'm not sure. Terzna, maybe I'm not sure. So, all right. Until next time, this is your Hawkeye. All right.